Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB. Today in the arena, I get to show you a deck that will probably have a huge impact on the competitive landscape if we ever get like a large scale MTG tournament featuring Crimson Vow. And I think there's one coming up, the Innistrad Championships, I believe are December 11th, don't quote me on that, something like that. But there is a tournament coming up, and I think when you see it, you're going to see a lot of Izzet, but it's not going to be the Izzet that you're used to. And while you can do Galvanic Iteration and Alrund's Epiphany, and you can do Goldspan Dragon as well, and those decks are still going to show up on ladder and here and there, I think that the evolution of Izzet is going to take a turn to the surprising for some of you, but you're going to see some of it here first, and it revolves around this card. The Kraken, Hullbreaker Horror, the 5 blue 7/8 flash can't be countered creature, and whenever you cast a spell, choose up to one. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, and return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. It can bounce itself. It can bounce tokens. It can bounce spells on the stack. It can bounce whatever as long as you have a spell to play. And remember, it can't be countered, so it's very hard to kill. And the reason that it just kind of changes the dynamic is most decks can't really deal with it effectively. The only thing that you can do is, like, if they make a mistake, if I tap out completely for this horror and you have an Infernal Grasp, boom, horror dead. But there aren't even that many Doomblades being played in the format because of the way how the format has worked so far. A lot of bounce spells are being played instead. You can bounce this all day, it will keep coming back, and as the opponent accumulates more and more land, eventually the Kraken becomes completely overwhelming. So for me, Hullbreaker Horror is the new thing that a meta is going to eventually revolve around, because in my experience, it actually beats Epiphany heads up. If your opponent has a deck full of Alrund's Epiphany and you have a deck full of Hullbreaker Horror, you're going to flash in the horror on the end step, and from now on, whenever they actually try to cast that sorcery, that's 6 or 7 mana, you're just going to send it back to their hand with any instant speed interaction of any kind. So I think that this is where the meta will evolve on the really, really competitive front, and I love it and I hate it at the same time. I'm going to love it for a while playing this Hullbreaker Horror deck, because this Hullbreaker Horror deck straight up annihilates the other Epiphany decks if you play it smart. So I'm having a good time in the heads up Izzet versus Izzet battle, just smashing, bashing, and making absolute fish food out of them. However, eventually they'll watch this video or watch other players make videos about this, or they'll figure it out for themselves and they'll put Hullbreaker Horror in their deck. Few things are as stupid as Hullbreaker Horror versus Hullbreaker Horror Mirror. It's about mana and who has an instant speed card and their Hullbreaker Horror. It's absolutely wild, in a very bad way. It feels stupid, as bad as the Alrund's Epiphany Mirror, but worse. So yeah, until people figure this out, you should probably craft a few while the other people are clinging to their old school lists and go smash them a bit. The rest of the deck is designed to contend with aggro without ultimately outright beating aggro all the time. You really do want to dominate the mirror, and to do that, you need to be able to cast Hullbreaker Horror, and you need to be able to cast it with some mana open ahead of when the opponent would, so you have to run Unexpected Windfall. So you're very similar to the Galvanic Iteration, Alrund's Epiphany, Unexpected Windfall list, except you're going for Hullbreaker Horror in any instant instead of exactly Alrund's Epiphany and Galvanic Iteration. Along the way, we get to play Leer, a card that's very, very sweet, and make sure that we have plenty of spells to cast with our Hullbreaker Horror. If you end step Hullbreaker Horror, untap, and play Leer, they're just never doing anything again. It's awesome for you. So Leer makes the deck for sure. It's also great against mono green and can steal games against mono white. It's 4 copies of Smoldering Egg. We get to play this in the deck, and 4 copies of Jacob Hawken Inspector. These 8 2-drops drive the other control decks crazy. There's such low investment, and they can bounce these all they want. That's fine. You'll play them again for only 2 mana and keep the pressure on. And they just don't have that many cheap 2 mana removal spells right now. Like, bounce is the rage. It is in this deck too. And eventually that'll have to change, because these cards come down and just kind of take over, to be honest. Like, they just, the game starts to become about them if the opponent can't kill you by turn 5, you know? At that point, you're threatening to flip your egg and start picking off their creatures. Jacob Hawkins about to flip as soon as you have 6 mana available. Sometimes you can end step, Unexpected Windfall, untap, flip Hawken, play a Hullbreaker Horror or a Leer for free. It's nice, but this package of cards really does a lot of work in the deck, and you'll see. Other than that, not a lot of new cards. The Hullbreaker Horror and the Jacob are the only things you haven't seen before. The rest looks like regular Izzet control, and just like when I play against Izzet control, it will be very hard to figure out when the opponent is playing against us. They don't know if we're trying to line up Epiphanies, Goldspan Dragons, or Giant Krakens, and the answer this time is Krakens. So that's going to be sweet. Don't cut the Spike Field Hazards. They're really important right now in the meta for killing those cheap Thalias, but they're also awesome because they can hit any target, and they're a 1-mana spell you can have up with Hullbreaker Horror. So if you play Hullbreaker Horror on end step with 1 mana open, and the opponent does have Infernal Grasp or Soul Shatter, you can Spike Field Hazard their face and bounce your Hullbreaker Horror and make them have another answer next turn. It's fun. Deck is undefeated so far. 4-0, small sample size, but I've been playing various decks like it, just all kinds of Hullbreaker Horror variants, so I've been hopping around a lot. Every time I played the Izzet one, I felt way ahead of the curve. So you want to see stats? Okay, fine. Here, look at the 4-0. Look at the 100% win rate. Did you learn something? All right. But yeah, you're going to see it in action, and it does have to be seen to be believed. I think that this is a future tier 1 contender for Standard for sure. So in today's games, you're going to see how nice it is when your opponent fails the Field of Ruin basic land test. You're also going to see what it takes to beat an opponent who takes 3 extra turns in a row. Yeah, they did that to me. I won. You'll see the team of Jacob, Smoldering Egg, and Leer. You'll see that they can bring you back from insane situations. So when this trio gets together, it also does a ton. And then the Hullbreaker Horror, our big Kraken, our star, our fish daddy, was very shy. Didn't come out for a while to play in this particular video. But when it does, you'll get to see the complete domination. The video will not conclude without seeing the Crab Daddy at work. So, on that note, let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Release the Kraken. Neo. Played Neo many times. I'm trying to remember. Is it mono white or is it Izzet? I think it's like mono white. Let's find out. We got a lot of cool toys here. Having a strange moment where I've actually forgotten what's in my own deck. Do I have a Snarl in here? I have a Snarl. Of course I'll draw it if I play this basic, so. Alright, Izzet on Izzet. That's what we're looking for. I like holding my iterations for a bit. This way we can divide their iteration, then iterate ourselves. Jeskai. Do you think they run basics? What if they don't? I want this on red for the windfall. Well, we're gonna find out. Because they're probably not going to do anything other than foretell. Gonna find out if they are basic gamers. The Snarl was on top, of course it was. They have no basics. They have no basics, guys. Oh, we're gonna punish that. Big time. We drew the dream team. We didn't draw the land, though. That's what I get for pitching one. They might try to counter it, but I will divide that by 0. They're feeling spicy. They're feeling salty. Back with your tested talents. And get out of my game. Jacob. Jake. We gaming. But what's our opponent up to? Hazard. Do we hold on to our hazard because there might be something to hit? We'll feel pretty bad if they play a Malevolent Hermit or something. If they have a turn 2 egg, or a turn 2 Jacob for that matter, if they're really on the level, we want to bounce it. Okay. So against Izzet, the egg is a little harder to kill. But this gets you cards. Let's lead with the egg. Well, I'm out here smoldering. What you doing? Uh-huh. You might want to give that a read. It's a card that does things. That's what you need to know. Sure. Back. Back, I say, dragon. Well, let's see what they do. It's getting interesting. This mid-game is going to be spicy. Because they have to start respecting these. Let's draw first. Let's exile this. We need the 2 land. They have a lot of cards. So let's grab this. Oh, come on, don't have a land. They do. Ooh, they might have wanted that one, though. So we get to flip the egg. But we could also windfall here. If we windfall, we can also teachings. We can do all of these things. Cool. Very cool. Now if they go for an epiphany, we have an answer. But will we have a Kraken? Lear and Kraken, waiting to come play. If that's all they do this turn, how much do we care? Not that much, right? They have to do something else to matter. We can just cast 2 spells and kill this guy. Another Foretell, huh? Good one. Good one. If we're playing the tempo game. They have 4 cards in hand. We can flip the Inspector, which isn't... Like, you don't really want to flip it on your turn in this matchup. It's not very good. Don't think they'll counter this Fading Hope. I think they're too afraid of what else could happen. They're thinking about it. Okay, ready to see a cool trick? If I do this, will I have enough mana left? Yes, I will. Okay, so activate, draw, discard, autopay, transform, nice Dragonfire, cast Windfall. Let's drop off. I still need the untapped land, right, to be able to divide. So we'll drop off the Archaics, just to be sure. 2 damage. Draw 2. Bounce. Land. Divide by 0. Open. Hit. Go. Now, can they iteration? Yes, they can. So if they have a perfect draw, maybe they go Epiphany iteration here, and I'm still dead. It's possible. Actually, what if we just let that be? Because if they play Saw It Coming here, like, who really cares, right? It's plenty of land. Alright, we'll try. Well, now they definitely could have the counter. We just have to make sure we get another turn, right? Alright, I'll fight it. They had that last turn too. Alright, let's see how far they get. You've taken 2 extra turns. You better win. And you're lucky I didn't draw a Kraken. You've taken 3 extra turns, because why wouldn't you? You better win. How do they always have 3, man? How do they do it? They attack all. They play Galazeth. You better be able to kill this. I don't know if they're gonna kill it, guys. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. We're trying to kill him. Let's see if we get away with it. Oh, they opens the door. Come on, come on, come on, come on, stupid arrow. Ah, Stevens. Okay. We beat 3 extra turns without the Kraken. Not the way I drew it up, but we'll take it. The way I see it, keep the blue opponents coming. So far, the matchmaker's just been like, here's a blue deck, here's a blue deck. And I'm like, nom, nom. It's been great. We are not a deck that likes to play mono white. We are not a deck that likes to play mono green. Although, Lyra is pretty good, and Kraken is pretty good against mono green. Just, you know, don't put me on the draw against mono white, and we should be happy. Other V-neck enthusiasts were on the play. Let's go. When I'm worried about hitting my land drops, I like to lead with this guy. But let's see what they play. Maybe we'll need the 0-4. Oh, you have the bat? Sorry. Sorry, fellow V-neck enthusiast. I thought we had a connection. I thought you had taste. You've got the sleeves. And look, you're not playing vampires. You're playing zombies. You frickin' weirdo. I think we go for this first. But we don't block because of Deadly Dispute. Ta-da. If we blocked there, they could use the -1/-1 and the 1 damage from combat to kill it. All right, let's see. Are they the turn 3 Lolth deck? If they are, we have to draw Divide by 0 right here. Oh, nice. They're black-green. And they definitely don't have turn 3 Lolth now. Got a few too many of all these cards, don't we? I guess a removal spell hits a removal spell. Let's get rid of the egg. And let's play the other egg. Next turn we can Windfall. Have a lot of mana. Maybe we'll draw a Hullbreaker Horror before this video's over. Hasn't happened yet. 0 Krakens released. Always fun when you sit down to play your new deck and you have trouble drawing the cards that you built around. Fell Stinger. Seems like such a good blood money card. Look at the value. We're both just gonna kick back and dirtle. It's fine. This is fine. Could exile this. Let's just say go. Instant speed Windfall. Use the loot probably after the Windfall. Here's your 3 damage. I'll block here. Death Touch, baby. Skullport Merchant doesn't have 3 power and Death Touch. Wow, you're a disgrace to blood money playing that card. Well, I guess we'll loot first. We could hit a Divide by 0 and be really happy about it. Oh, hi. Well, we're going to want to kick it, and it's going to kill this, and that's sad. I think it's this guy. Next turn we can flip this, and if we have one more red, like we draw an untapped red, we can kick it. No, that's not how that works. We can't kick it after casting it for free. It's not how that works. Okay. Divide by 0, a little late there. Fading Hope. Fading Hope, you say? So I could take 3. I could flip this. Wouldn't flip the egg, though. I can definitely get the egg flipped. And use the Clasm. I really want to flip this first. I want to Clasm after I flip. That's so greedy. I'm so greedy. I'm so greedy. If we don't draw the land, it's so bad. So I think I should just stall for another turn. Say go. It's a tricky spot, but say that they just attack with like the Death Toucher and the Chariot. I don't really care if they make more 2/2s. If they don't give me anything to divide because they play conservatively, I can block with Jacob, flip it. I'm definitely overvaluing the flip. I just want to do it for you guys, the audience. I'm overvaluing it because they're just going to use binding on it anyway. Oh man, for sure, they're just going to kill it. I don't care. If I'm not going to draw a hullbreaker horror, I'm going to do something cool with my new card. That's the end. That's the bottom line. I'm telling you, if they bind here, they're definitely going to bind here. So I'm not going to block with this and flip. I'm just going to go over here and take 7, like a good CGB. Conservative till the end. Another gas, you betcha. Field of Ruin, whatever. Here we go. Bring me the horizon. Oh, beautiful. So this is the part where if the opponent is like sitting on removal, you'd think they get to kill this. They don't. And you'll see it's just going to go straight to next turn. Oh, it didn't. Oh, there's a priority stop here now? Maybe they put a stop on it. Doesn't matter. We got to next turn. Yeah, I think our opponent put stops down. I was hoping to show you guys, but usually you flip it on end step, it goes straight to next turn. Oh, Lear. Oh, boom shakalaka. Oh, that's a hit. But we have no land. I think I'd prefer this turn. What do we discard? We got to keep the Cinderclasm. I love the Fading Hope. I love the Divide by 0. Now remember, this won't flip the egg because we paid 0 for it. Another Lear. We do hit the land. All right, the game is on now. We're going to Cinderclasm all these little buggers, and if we can get the opponent to power up the Chariot, we can kill that with the Cinderclasm 2 with the trigger from the egg if the egg is alive. We have to play one other spell to make that happen. Shouldn't be too hard. We'll find a way. They'll probably try to bind this so we can divide it by 0. They go in for a Deadly Dispute. Sure. What an exciting game. Anything could happen. Stinger, okay. Do your thing. We could sweep it right now, and they wouldn't get to draw the cards. You got me. You got me. Stopping them from drawing the cards is too much value for me to resist. They crew. Okay, so now their Chariot will take 2 damage. They could exploit it for cards, but we just have to cast one more spell, and the Chariot will die. Would you like to exploit your Chariot for 2 cards? I would love it if you do. That'd be fine. Okay. Now just put some kind of spell on the stack for me. Actually, the 2 damage resolves first. So we don't have to Fading Hope our own dragon. Man, people love Chariot in this snow deck, and it's definitely worth testing to see if it works for you. But man, I think it's not great. All right, guys. They're just getting back an innkeeper. Is this worth a divide by 0? We plan to play Lear for free, so we can divide it again next turn. Abso-frickin-lutely is the answer. Let's go! Come on down. Splash Bros in the house. Look at the power we have on call now. No land, but I'll take this Hullbreaker Horror. What do we put back in the deck? What do we exile for good? I guess I'll cast this. Why not? We're gonna hit land, right? Right? It's definitely gonna happen. We still have enough treasure for a divide by 0. Holy cow, the power. Guys, all this without countering any spells. Can you believe it? Back, I say. Direct damage for the win. Do we release the Kraken? No. It's sad, but the Kraken will have to wait. Stevens. Dark Lord. On the draw. I don't think this hand is keepable. I think it just does nothing. Thank you, Unexpected Windfall. Okay, we have to put away the horror. Do we? I mean, we could try to hit land in other ways. But man, keeping a 7-drop in your opener on a mulligan seems really bad. But we haven't played this Kraken yet today. We'll get back to it. Don't worry. We'll get there. Just don't come out all aggro. Yep, I'm snarly. What do you think? They got Deadly Dispute? I think they do. Click, 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 click. Yeah, Deadly Dispute. I thought I was on the draw. How do they have so many cards? Man, do I love Deadly Dispute, I twitch. I'm jealous, and I'm playing a pretty awesome deck, but I am straight up jealous. Yep, go get your land. Get ready for your Lulth. Yep, yep, yep. Let's be ready for that Haven to power up. Hunt for specimens. Okay. Mascot exhibition. So they have plenty of mana, I guess. Let's use our turn to do something here and get this Haven out of here. They're going to cast another Deadly Dispute in this window. Nice. It's so many cards. We're going to need this Divide by Zero to get Teachings to get us back into it. Yay, I play Magic now. I think we're supposed to hold up Divide by Zero, though. Because right now we're not under too much pressure. And a Lulth or something like that is terrifying. Our opponent's going into a turn with 8 potential mana. There it is. Here comes the Spider Queen. Let's see, if we go down to 5, up to 6, down to 5, and they're on 6. Okay. I think they're trying to calculate if they should play something to avoid Teachings, but they shouldn't. Like, they're doing just fine. Alright, so get an egg on the field, I guess. They'll probably kill it. If they play Lulth, I guess we use some Fading Hope shenanigans to try to keep the spiders off our back. And at least threaten to flip this so they have to do something. I guess if I'd play the Fading Hope on my turn, I'd have a chance here, but any response, and you can tell by just how much they're sitting around thinking, would stop that. Alright. There's the horror. Can we live long enough and not be in too bad of a position for this horror to make a difference? Opponent's King of the World. They have Lulth on the battlefield. And they're playing around Spikefield Hazard. Smart. Smart, but it also is signing up for a long game. Which, they should probably be more aggressive. But, it's up to them. Windfall, that's a good draw. So we can Windfall into Horror and have a lot of mana to use with it and just start bouncing everything on the field. That's really good. We're probably discarding the Iteration because cheap spells are so good with the Horror. Yeah, they're going to try to grind me out. I don't know if that's going to work. Plus, we got 2 of their Infernal Grasps, which is probably the most important card they have against the Kraken. And they're just not doing enough damage. I think they're playing a weird game. A dangerous game. The hook is really good. The hook is a really good one. Oh, it's on. Yep, you keep drawing cards.
Oh, yes. I know the knowledge you seek.
I think we take the damage and let this be an instant speed effect. They might even play around this hall, but they shouldn't. Oh my gosh, they do. Maybe they're playing around the Horror. Game time. Woo. Every spell you cast is now a bounce effect. So first things we're going to do, return this. Going to cast another one of these, I think. So let's go to hand, deck, exile. Again. Boing. Nice. Hand. Deck, exile. Exile that. Get rid of your pest. Beast mode. Now what? Now what do you do? 7/8. Every spell I have can bounce your spell. So I should have used a Fading Hope instead of a Spikefield Hazard, because Fading Hope is harder to use with the Breacher as a counter effect or a spell bounce effect. So just something to keep in mind. I definitely should have Fading Hoped the tokens, because now I don't want to Fading Hope my own horror to bounce something, because then I bounce my horror. To the moon! I mean, opponent went for it, didn't they? All the value doesn't matter when that card gets rolling. When you release the Kraken, it doesn't matter how many cards you're lulled through. And we are back for the post-game wraps, and I feel like there's a lot to say about Izzet decks. For one thing, they have too many good cards. So all the cards that you're like, really? You're not playing this? You should play one of this. Yeah. I could build a 100 card Izzet deck that would be all good cards. Maybe I could build a 250. Maybe that'll be a challenge we'll do someday. But what do you take out? Like, everything works. Nothing in today's video underperformed. And that's easy to say when you play 4 games and win 4 games. By the way, I don't get time to play as many games as I'd like to for the full sample size for these decks, because I'm going to Vegas and I'm recording ahead. So here on this outro, I'm going to talk about my routine change, that some of you may have caught on to, but you're the true fans. You've watched till the end. So now what I used to do, sit down, record the games, then record the intro and the outro, and then have that uploaded, and that would be tomorrow's video. Simple, straightforward. The only thing that might surprise people is I record the intro and outro after the games. There's a good reason for that. If I want to change the deck during the games, or I realize I've done something wrong, or I realize my deck is a piece of trash for the current meta and I want to change, I didn't waste time recording an intro for something that never gets published. That's the biggest one. Routine change. Now that I've buffered a few days, what I do is I come in, I eat my breakfast, I get all ready to face the day, you know, get that solid breakfast. You want to know what I eat for breakfast? Yes, of course you do. Somebody does. Bacon, like every day. You gotta have bacon, just pure testosterone. And I have like some sausage usually, and I have a cup of yogurt. And I either have potatoes or French fries when I have them available from last night. Like, we usually make one of those big bags of potatoes, so when there's leftovers, I have that. And water. Yeah, that's usually breakfast. Anyway, so I eat my breakfast, I come down here, and I take footage from the last couple days. I pick out the deck I'm going to feature tomorrow, and I watch the footage again, like kind of at high speed. And I take little notes of what's interesting about it. And you've seen that in the intro where I say, well, today in the arena, you're going to see why this and how I come back from this and all that. So it creates a little teasers to try to give people a reason to watch the video. It also challenges me when I'm watching my games that there's a reason that these are in the video. Because there's nothing I hate more than watching a video and then at the end it's like, well, this was a deck. I kind of liked it. It's not as good as the other decks in the meta. The end. It's like, what? Why? So I like forcing myself to watch the games and see that there's a reason to put them in the video. Like, that means a lot to me. That's the kind of content I'd want to watch. Hopefully it means something to you. But yeah, I rewatch the content. I rewatch the recorded games and I take little notes, and then I record my intros where I go over the stats, I go over the notes, I go over the deck with an eye to like how the game's actually played out, instead of being like, you can do this cool interaction, but it never comes up. And then I go and I record the outro. And the outro now is, sometimes I have more to say about the deck, sometimes I have more to say about what cards could be in the deck, sometimes I have rants I need to get out of my chest, sometimes I just have things I want to say to you guys. This routine change has changed my life, because I don't have to play any games before I record this part of the video. Nothing ruins Magic like Magic. Nothing. It's a salty game. It gets under your skin, man. When you have a bad day, when you're just losing everything, when you can't seem to do anything right, when the opponent always has it and you never have it. So many videos I've just deleted because I don't even want to post them after that, because it just feels so bad. And so many times I've barely, like, I've squeaked over the finish line, right? I've been recording for an hour and a half trying to get some footage together, and I record that last game, and I'm like, all right, that's good enough. That's a video. That's a good video. But I don't feel like recording the intro and outro. I'm just like, God, I guess I'll just say some words. And the intro and outro are really my best chance, I think, to make an impression for all of you, that and let you know that this isn't like an exercise in futility for me. It's not banging my head against a wall. I love this game, and I love sharing what I do in this game with all of you. It's just sometimes Magic the Gathering gets under your skin, and it makes my outros and intros worse than they could be. Doesn't happen if I come straight downstairs after a sweet breakfast and a good night's sleep and hit record. I'm feeling great right now because I haven't played any Magic right now. So what's going to happen is, when I'm done recording this outro and I say you're cool, I'm going to start recording more games, which I'm going to review tomorrow and possibly put in a video in the future. And when I start playing those games, God knows what'll happen. But now I don't have to record I don't have to put on the smile and try to record the intro and outro after those games if I'm feeling salty. It's been a game changer, and it really works for me. And hopefully it makes the videos better too. There's just a little more intention behind every video, where I know exactly like the theme of the video, the games that I included, I know why they're there. They have a point. There's something interesting about them that I want you to notice. And the outros, maybe you get just a little more me, CGB. So thanks for staying till the end. Of course, you're cool. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. I said it already, but we'll say it again. You're cool.